Okay, today it's Mr. Knuckles' wood shop. I'm going to take a break from the guitar and get into the shop today and fix a problem that I've had for a long time. So the reason I'm focused on this is because I'm sure most of you have a cupboard or a place, a pantry, whatever, like this, where you just can't get the stuff and you got to pull everything out to figure out what you have back there, and you find out that there's stuff that you haven't seen in months or even years, and when you do need it, you can't get to it, and you have to have all this headspace between your shelves to get something out. So today I am going to build, and I've already built this one, but I'm going to build a series of shelves. This one's a little bit tight, actually. It turns out that the sides of the cupboard aren't parallel, but you can see the efficiency of that, and it's not too hard to build. Like I say, it's a little tight at the back, so you got to push it in, but it still fits. So a couple of things. First of all, I had to make a spacer here just for the door clearance. You can see on this side that the door sticks out a little bit, so I need a spacer over here. A couple of drawer slides and some scrap wood, plywood on the bottom. I'll show you how I make it. But you can see how efficient that's going to be, and you don't need the head space, so I can put the next shelf here and catch a little bit of room there, and I think I can probably make that 2-shelf area into 3 shelves and gain a whole bunch of space. So I'll show you how I do it. Okay, first things first, I gotta rip this board down. It's a 1/2-inch old scrap piece of oak. You can see the sides aren't straight, but I gotta rip it down into 2-inch pieces. I'm gonna put this guide board on it, screw that to it so I can run it through the table saw and start ripping. Okay, so I've ripped down that piece of oak. You don't have to use oak, you can use whatever scrap you have lying around. This was a total scrap piece of wood, but I got a bunch of pieces of 2-inch pieces out of it. So the 2-inch pieces, this is one I've just built. The 2-inch pieces are for the side, just a plywood bottom. I use Select. It's not the best plywood, but who cares? Nobody's going to see it. It's going to be full of stuff, hopefully. The back is the 2-inch oak as well. I've found some, what I think is maple, I'm not positive, but anyways, I just made it a bit taller so you can grab onto it, and so it's a little bit more substantial at the front. But you don't need to do that. You can make the sides as high or as low as you want, as long as they're big enough to accept the drawer slide. Then that's all you need. But you could make it good and tall so that you can just pile stuff inside this thing. I've got a little mock-up here of exactly how it's gonna go. So drawer slide. Next to that is the side of the unit, the side of the drawer. On this side, we've got the drawer slide. Sorry, we've got the side drawer slide, and then the little spacer that I need to keep it out from, so the door can shut and so it can get past the door. Front, back piece. The only thing you got to watch for is you got to measure this piece of plywood really precisely, because it's going to create the width that you're going to add this and this and this and this and this to, and all those things together have to fit perfectly into your opening. So it all matters, you know, that you measure the plywood perfectly, but you measure it perfectly. That's what you do. Just a little mention about drawer slides. I got these drawer slides online, and the first ones that came, they have this little plastic pin. So as the drawer slide comes back, the pin fits into this little groove and then moves over and allows the piston to softly close it. But these plastic pins started to pop on me, and so a couple of my drawer slides didn't work. So I ended up getting ones with metal pins, which don't fall apart. But the metal pin ones have this little piece of plastic on the end to stop the piston, and on some of them, the piece of plastic has started to pop off. So now, when it closes, the piston just slides out the end, which is kind of a drag. However, it's not that big of a deal, because when the drawer goes into the cabinet, the back of the cabinet wall is going to be here, and it's going to stop that piston from going anywhere. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. But the point is, research your drawer slides. Make sure that they're going to last and that they're what you need. Okay, when you go to install these, it's pretty important to get them level, and the easy thing to do is just use a speed square and make sure that they're square. And then the way you do it is you do one side, get that done, and then put the drawer in with this side on, and this side's not going to be on, so the drawer slide's going to be attached, and then you just make sure it's level across here, and then just draw a line underneath, and that's where you put the second one. All right. Okay, this is one day's work, and I've got another day's work to finish up here, but you can see that it would have been nice to, I was actually planning on putting one at this level, but it turns out that's where the door hinges go, so we could put some taller stuff here, but you can see that, I mean, that's the kind of space that the head space that you save, right? Rather than having to reach back and pull those out, right? So, much more efficient, and all that stuff we haven't seen for probably 2 years because it was at the back. It turned out to be a pretty easy project. The main thing you really need are drawer slides. Make sure you get good ones. You don't need air guns and all that stuff. You need some glue. You need some screws. Clamps. I've got another one clamping up over here. Some old scrap wood and a piece of plywood. And that's it. It was a great little project and made my kitchen a little bit more efficient. There you go.